Hello and welcome to AZ in the Circle, Arizona's softball podcast. We got a great show planned for you today, so thanks for watching. We have here in the circle today Kennedy Burns, a freshman at the University of Maine. Thanks, Kennedy, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Yep. We're going to talk about, we're going to recap your 2023 season, everything that happened coming off your senior year into summer ball, your last summer session, and then also your first fall ball, and now on the cusp of the brand new season, your freshman season in college. That'd be great. And then we'll talk about her recruitment journey and also what she loves most about softball. And we'll mix into some questions in there. So let's get started. Welcome, Kennedy.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. And you're home for the holidays here, so
Yes.
that's awesome. You glad to be home?
I am. I haven't been home since August, so it's been nice to see my family and my friends. I didn't go home for Thanksgiving just because it was a short window, so I'm glad to be home for a bit before I head off into the season in the spring.
And University of Maine, I'm sure there's lots of sunshine there right now, nice and warm.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. We did have first snowfall, I think, a few weeks ago. So that was nice to experience my first snowfall on the East Coast. But we did just get a storm, I think, a few days ago. So I think the snow's finally rolling in, and it's definitely getting a lot colder.
So when you get back, there'll probably be tons of snow on the ground.
Yes.
Okay.
The entire time. It'll be high of 10 degrees probably. So, yeah, lots of layers.
When you went there this August, was that in the back of your mind? Like, did you go loaded for bear as far as you had your winter coat already picked out, not that kind of stuff?
Yes. When I went on my official visit, I came in January, so I got to experience the snow and pretty much as cold as it gets there.
Okay.
So it was nice getting to go there in August and experience a bit of the summer and the warmer weather before it gets cold.
Yep. A bit of Maine. Bahaba, is that how they call it?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. I was there in the summer a couple years ago, and it's beautiful. It's fantastic.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yes, and the seafood's fantastic. It's fresh.
Yes.
It's not like you get too much fresh seafood in Arizona.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about your recap in 2023. You played your senior season at Red Mountain High School.
Yes.
And you had the opportunity to play with your younger sister, Mia, who was talented enough to start as a freshman.
Yes.
And how she was at second base, I understand, and you were
Yes.
playing in the outfield,
Yep.
right field sometimes.
Yes.
So you guys were there pretty close on the field. What was that like playing with your sister?
I think it was just fun to see her turn around, like in the infield, and be able to share exchanges and little conversations with her. But I think what I enjoyed the most was at practices, being able to kind of coach her, and even outside of practice, just being able to go home with her, go to different events with her, kind of have her in our friend group. And it was fun to see her kind of grow into this new person and mature a bit as she experiences her first year of high school.
That's awesome. What about as the season progressed and you guys were inching towards the playoffs? Was it always this thing that, hey, you're going to make the playoffs, or did you guys have to get into it to get to the playoffs, like really had to work your way, or did you guys kick so much butt that you knew you were going to make the playoffs?
We actually didn't. I mean, we definitely had to work our way into the playoffs. We definitely didn't have a given role. I don't remember what we were ranked, but we did have a hard division, and we definitely had to work for it at practice, and always in the back of our minds that it's not given, and we have to work every day to get to playoffs.
Yeah, there was a playoff game in Arizona, and I think maybe we'll edit this if it's not, but I thought it was your guys, is that you guys were down late in the game, and you made an incredible comeback.
I think so.
Like in the last inning.
I think it was. I think it was our home game as well, and we were down. Yeah, it was, and I think Payne Westra hit a home run, and I remember because I was on second base. And
You guys were down by a lot.
Yeah.
Was that a home game or was it a playoff game?
I believe it was a home game.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, and we ended up winning, and that took us into, I think, quarterfinals.
Oh, it's okay. Quarterfinals. It's great. And you guys actually made it to the semifinals or made it to the quarterfinals the next game?
We made it to the semifinals, so we
awesome.
lost in the semifinals.
To a team that actually went on to the state championship.
Yes.
But then didn't make it. But
Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah, so good for you guys.
Yes.
So then you always have those memories of that you played with your sister deep into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then let's talk about your last summer of club ball. Like, did it ever dawn on you, like, hey, this is it, or you just try to ignore it, and when you got to the last game, what was that feeling like?
I think I mean I knew that it was going to be my last summer. We had such a tight knit group of girls, and we had a lot of seniors as well. So I think we all just put it aside that, I mean, this is our last time playing with each other, and we just went out onto the field every time. Got to share, I mean, smiles and exchange laughs, and really enjoy being out there with each other.
Yeah, I think that's seems to me like in sports that's better, instead of getting wrapped into this is our last. Just enjoy the moment and be present and kick butt and play softball and do what you love.
Yeah.
And then when it gets to the end, then you can feel what you got to feel then. So that's good to know. And then then you went on to Maine.
Yes.
And you had your first fall. Okay, first of all, how was it when you moved to Maine? Because it's from Arizona to Maine. That was a big day, right? Big weekend. Both parents went out there and moved you in.
Yes.
How was that? That was pretty bittersweet, or I think that's the first time I ever felt what bittersweet meant, was when you go away to college for the first time and you're excited, but then at the same time, it's hard.
Yeah, it definitely was a bittersweet moment. I mean, it was so fun getting able to share Maine with my family, especially because my dad had never been, so that was his first time. And it was just so fun getting to move in, them meeting my other freshman teammates. And then when the day finally came that I did have to say goodbye, it was sad. It definitely, after they left, I realized, like, I am on my own, but I have such a great community there. All my teammates, all the academic counselors, resources, they're absolutely amazing, and it truly does feel like a home there.
And then the softball team there, I know it's Coach Kanoy?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
Dave, yes.
They keep you busy. They get you right involved. They really helped you assimilate into the community there.
Yes, and I think it helped that I have two other teammates that are from Arizona,
Okay.
Especially Dave. He, our assistant coach, he's from Arizona as well. So it's nice knowing that they've experienced it their freshman year because they're sophomores. So they know what I'm going through whenever I struggle. But it's also just nice knowing that we all come back to the same place and we just get to experience it all together.
Yeah, but I've heard of college students go to NAU.
Yeah.
And they're only 2 hours away, and they feel the same homesickness. So
Yeah.
I think it's just maybe what do they call that? A ritual, a passage.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you made it through that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're fired, and then fall ball starts to go. And tell me about that. How did you experience that? What was that like?
It flew by. Like, it was crazy how fast. I mean, the entire fall semester went. It just felt so fast. But the fall ball, I mean, it was a lot of fun. We actually didn't get to play many games just because of traveling and various instances, but we were able to go down to Boston and play Boston College for a doubleheader, so that was nice. I got to experience my first, collegiate game.
At a great facility.
Yes.
I know Maine has great facilities too,
Yeah.
but to go down there in Boston, and how exciting.
Yeah, beautiful campus. And so that was fun, just getting to play with my teammates and learn from them and kind of how the whole process goes of playing at the collegiate level. And it's fast. It's a fast game. So it definitely, and it flew by. So it was crazy.
Yeah, and studying your schedule last year, I realized that you guys play some powerhouses. I think your team played Oklahoma State last year.
Yes, we did.
Yep. And then who you scheduled that's coming up that in your mind, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna circle that date. We're gonna pull off an upset.
Yeah, when we in February, the first week of February, it's actually our opener. When we're coming back down to Arizona and we're gonna play ASU, and then when we go to Florida, I think we're gonna play Michigan. So.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to see some upsets.
Yes.
All right, to see it. Okay, great. Let me see. And that's okay. So, what are you looking forward to in your first college season? That would be playing, coming down here. So your home opening tournament is in Arizona.
It is.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
That's
I'm
really
so
great.
excited.
And your parents got to be over the moon. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, what? And that's the ASU Grand Canyon kind of
Yes.
tournament.
Yes.
Yep, that they're kind of both hosting.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, there's a lot of great teams coming in for
Yeah.
that. Super. All right, so let's talk recruitment. We talked about Maine, fall season. You're going into your first season.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear a little bit about, or we want to hear a little bit about how you got to Maine. How did you choose Maine? So, what was your overall take on the recruiting process? Because it is a process. I mean, it's probably a marathon, right? You think it just goes on forever, and then it does it. Then you're on to the next step. But tell me a little bit about that.
I mean, the recruiting process, I say that to me, I mean, all my younger friends who are going through the recruiting process right now, I mean, it's hard. It's not an easy thing. Everyone struggles. I struggled. I mean, people at a higher collegiate level than me, they've all struggled. So it's definitely hard trying to be
Is there something higher than D1?
No, just like a little
No,
higher.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. You're at the highest level there
Yes,
is?
I
Okay.
am.
Okay.
But I mean, it's a hard process, just trying to be seen out of this entire softball community. But what struck me is I just had to focus on what I can do and kind of envision what specific schools I wanted and how they would help me and benefit me, and even after softball, because I mean, you only play softball for 4 or 5 years. So I knew that I wanted to go to Maine because I could see myself not playing softball there. I could see myself living on the East Coast, being at a campus that truly makes me feel happy. So that's kind of what I had to remind myself going through the process, and I mean, especially once I committed to Maine. But I basically got seen by Maine. It was weird because I hadn't emailed them at all, hadn't contacted them, didn't even think about them. But my junior year, my teammate right now, that's a sophomore at Maine, she was committed, and she was a senior while I was a junior. And she was like, hey, Coach Jordan is kind of looking for outfielders. Maybe you could email. And I was like, okay, yeah. I'll try it out, may as well. So I emailed her, and she was like, yes, I'll watch you. We were actually in a tournament that weekend, so she was like, I'll watch you through video because I'm not in Arizona or California, wherever we were at the moment. And she ended up loving my stuff, looked at my sports recruits, all my videos through there, and we ended up setting up a phone call, I think, that week after, just kind of her giving me information of what she enjoyed about me, and also just information about the school, the campus.
This is your junior year.
Yes.
So that helps that you could get instant feedback.
Yes, kind of their philosophy of coaching, and to see if I match those same ideals. And so then she invited me out for an official visit, and I went out there, I think, in January, I believe. So I went out there, got to meet the girls, got to meet the coaches and everything, and I fell in love with it.
She took a gamble. She's like, well, we're going to send her at the coldest time of year.
Yeah,
and if she
yes.
actually likes it, then we know we got something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I was there when it was a high of 10, so, and I mean, I still loved it. So we had a call. Oh, I actually went to a camp there as well at the time, so I got to experience.
Oh, in January.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was in the Dome at that time, so I got to experience being in a collegiate area, getting coached by them, also being able to talk to the players and seeing how they field and how they hit and their philosophy as well. So after that, I came back. They offered me right away, and I actually went on another visit to Minot State. It's a Division I in North Dakota.
Another nice, warm, sunny place.
Yeah. And I just knew that Maine was where I wanted to be. I could totally see myself living there even after softball.
And when they offered you, they said, and you said you had to go on another visit. They were sure.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure Maine's the one for you.
Yes, they gave me a big open window of the time and how long I could decide if I actually wanted to commit there. So they were very respectful of my decision and my time. And then I ended up deciding to commit there.
Yeah. What was the time frame of your? That was January. Then you went to your other visit. How long after that did you decide? Was it that summer or was it?
It was in January still. So
okay. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
It was fast.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yeah,
And then you mentioned earlier when we were talking that then you went to you went back there to see what the big game, the football game, the UNH versus
yes.
Maine, Tell us about that, because you hadn't been there for a football game yet, right?
Yeah, that was my actual official visit with the rest of the recruits in my class, and I mean, I still talk about it to this day that it's such a different experience, like being on your official and now being in college and on the campus, like two completely different settings. I swear I didn't see that same campus when I was a senior in high school. But it was just such an amazing experience to be able to watch a collegiate football game and be with my future teammates. Yeah, it was fun.
That's good. Good to hear that.
Yeah.
And then now, what about I always like to ask, our players, even I'm gonna ask them the coaches too.
Mm-hmm.
What would you, knowing now what you know about the recruitment process, what would you tell your younger self? Because everyone always says, oh, it's your own journey, and it is your own journey. But if you want to share, what would you learning now, what you know, what would you tell your younger Kennedy Burns self? Hey, Kennedy, what? What would you say to her? What would you say to her as a sophomore? Because when you said that the coach from the head coach at Maine reached out to you, you were already a junior, right?
Yes.
And they could talk to you and that kind of stuff. But before, when you're trying to figure it out, what would you say to a young Kennedy Burns? Which you're still very young.
Yes. Yeah. I would honestly say just embrace being able to play without so much weight on your back and just enjoying the moment, playing with your teammates, and being grateful for what you have and what you're given. I know that, junior and senior year, it's a hard process, trying to commit. So sophomore year, I would say just embrace it and enjoy what you have and what you're given. And everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's super. You're not the only person I've heard say that. Mm-hmm. Just recently, I heard a coach say that to the, it was a camp, and he was talking to the girls after the camp. And that's what he said is say, hey, I know you got to send out the emails and you got to get the videos together and all that, but when you actually get on the diamond and play, just enjoy it. Mm-hmm. And then the other stuff will take care of it and enjoy the moment. So I thought that was fantastic because that's what really resonates with coaches. If they see you compete, they see you having fun out there, to see you communicating with your teammates and getting after it. That's why they want you.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's good. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
And then lastly, what do you love about softball in terms of, it could be on the field or off the field, what gets you like fired up? It's like, man, I love this sport. Maybe it's a certain situation you're in, or maybe a girl's on third and a short pop fly to right field, and you're what gets you going? And it could be something too off the field too with softball.
Yeah, I would say on the field, just being in tight-knit situations where, it's a crazy situation happening, and you really just have to lock in, focus on what you can control, and embrace it, being with your teammates on the field. That's what I just love the most. And I think outside of softball, I would say just the community that it has given me. All my greatest friends are softball players, and also coaches, being able to still talk to my coaches, and they've had the greatest impact in my life. So it's been truly amazing to be able to form a community and being able to know that people are always with me and by my side.
Yeah, that's great, and that's what you're going to carry on down the road.
Yeah.
Are those relationships? That's super. What about on going back to playing? Is it you like being the home team and you're down by one run and you're up to bat, or do you like being the visitor team and you got to hold off the home team and play great defense?
I honestly love the defense part because anything could happen. Like, any situation can happen. You can't really predict what's going to happen. So I just love being in the outfield and talking to my teammates, like going over different situations of what could happen, and knowing that we have our pitchers back, and just going all out, especially if the ball goes to the outfield.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you come out here for that big tournament, because I think the high school season might not be started already, so I think you'll have a lot of, they'll be practicing, but I think you'll have a lot of fans there.
Yes.
So, Kennedy Burns, thank you so much for showing up, and if you enjoyed our show and you felt like we earned your like, then do whatever you got to do below to like us, subscribe to us, and thank you for watching this episode of AZ in the Circle, Arizona Softball Podcast.